Today, let's talk about a common theme that I'm seeing from clients and subscribers. Hey, Flossie, my SP is choosing to reject me. No, they're not. And if you want to know what I'm talking about and how to put a fucking stop to that shiznit, then stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another rousing episode of Spilling the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie, and I'm a mindset coach. Also, funniest, wittiest, queen of rampages here on YouTube. If you would like one-on-one coaching with me, links will be in the description box below, as well as links for other things like Nikki's manifestation evaluation coaching and our upcoming live class that is happening this upcoming weekend that is going to be Make 2023 the best year yet. And if you can, you are not going to want to miss that. Why? Because we're not only going to go live for 1 to 2 hours every day over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 4 to 6 hours of interactive teaching with us. We're going to teach you how to become a master manifesting and manifest everything from, we're going to go over manifesting A to Z, SP, new love, money, health, having a great relationship. No matter what it is, we're going to talk about it, cover it, everything that we teach one weekend. It's going to be so dope. So dope. So links will be in the description box for that. You aren't going to want to miss it, period. So before we get into the topic, I love my calendar. So jolly as fuck. Hell yeah. Why? Because it's the holiday season and we're all getting our fucking shit, period. Oh, and quit the bullshit, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about right now. So here we go. Flossie, my SP is choosing to reject me. No, they're not. Why? Because they can't choose to reject you. They don't have the free will to make the choice to reject you. It appears as though they're choosing to reject you because you are being rejected. But how did that even happen in the first place? At some point, you had created the thought or assumption about being rejected. Maybe it wasn't literally the thought of being rejected, but if you do some reverse engineering and you think about what thoughts you've had about that specific person, or look at your relationship patterns. Are you being ghosted? Are you typically left, abandoned? What happens? What happens in your previous relationships? What has happened with this SP? What has this SP said that made you to possibly form the assumption that they at some point were going to end this relationship? Have you had this pattern before? If it's a pattern, obviously refer to my video from last week where I go in depth about patterns and cycles, but your SP literally doesn't have the free will to reject you, period. You need to put that shit right here in the trash where it fucking belongs. You have to remember that your 3D reality is based on your dominant thoughts and assumptions about everything, including yourself, relationships, an actual person, and how they're going to interact with you. So this is what happens. This is the easiest way that I know how to explain. Everyone is you pushed out. You are literally the writer, director, and actor in your ongoing movie, TV miniseries, whatever genre you wish to place yourself in. Soap opera, I don't give a fuck, but soap opera, they're kind of dramatic, so maybe not. Anyway, you're literally write the script. So your dominant thoughts and assumptions generate this script about everybody, including you, how you're going to show up in relation to relationships, money, whether you're going to be wealthy, what you're going to look like, how you're going to deal with shit, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. It's all in this script. Just like, if you're watching a movie and you see an actor come on to the scene, right away, usually whether they're nice, a jerk, rich, poor, in a relationship, not. Like, you get to know about this person, why, how they are portraying themselves. Well, they're portraying themselves based on a script. So anyway, you give everybody in your 3D reality a script, including you. You also give one to your SP, or if you don't have an SP, your future love interest, that come forth as the 3Ds conforming and bringing that love interest that you're manifesting. So in that script, it might say, show up as the best version of yourself, wine, dine me, sweep me off my feet. And then at about so much time, you're going to start to be hot and cold, ignore me, reject me, abandon me, whatever your relationship pattern is, or whatever thoughts and assumptions you think about them. If you're having this relationship and things are seeming to go fairly well, but SP keeps saying things like, oh, you know, I don't really commit to anybody. I don't really commit very easily. My last relationship, blah, 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 or they're telling you these things and you're like, oh, they just don't really like to commit to people. Oh, they've cheated on 5 partners already in their life. They must be a cheater. Oh, they lie to everybody. I think that I might have caught them in a lie because I'm thinking this, even though they've said that. You know, your brain is constantly thinking, calculating, moving. It's like this all the time. You have like 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and they aren't necessarily in line with what you want to experience. Why? Because your brain is a natural at extrapolating information from all these different sources, life experiences, what I think I'm seeing and hearing. And then it does all this calculating bullshit. And it's like, oh, I created an assumption. So he said this, and this is my past experience with a person like that. And so they must be like this. And now they're not going to ever want to commit to me. And they're probably going to reject and abandon me. So it's either like your past assumptions about relationships that you still carry as a dominant thought from what you've experienced about that, or it's things that they say, or maybe it's even things are going fine and then you're talking to your girlfriend and she's like, oh, I heard negative things about him. I heard that he's like, has 50 bitches, has 50 hoes. And you're like, oh, he's got 50 hoes. And it's not even true because she's talking about somebody else. But now you have this assumption that your SP has 50 hoes. And guess what? Then you find out that they got 50 hoes too. Yeah, it's because you're creating assumptions about that shit. But anyway, you see this? This is where you put that. Because your specific person, your love, your partner, what have you, doesn't have the free will to literally reject you. You've written in their script, reject me. Whether, like I've been trying to review so rapidly here because my brain is going like this, whether it's literally based on your previous relationships, based on a behavior that you think you've seen or saw, based on information that you've extrapolated and you're forming assumptions that don't work for you, that you're constantly changing that script, okay? Things are going great. You think you see or hear something, and then you give, rewrite. We're going to do a rewrite here. Now you're going to reject me. Now you're going to abandon me. Now you're going to have, someone else. I saw you on Facebook. It looked like you were talking to somebody, even though that was a coworker, but I chose to assign the meeting that that's someone that you're interested in. And a couple weeks later, now you're interested in that person. Created assumption that didn't work for you, wrote it in a new script, gave it to your specific person. Specific person said, oh, damn, this is one hell of a rewrite. I'm not supposed to be loving, caring, and committed anymore. I'm supposed to be hot and cold as fuck. And rejection. And a lot of times it's like, when you go see certain types of productions, people don't have actual lines written out. They just play the character. They just play the part and people play off of each other. Well, that's what you're doing in your 3D reality. So you've now given a script that says reject me, abandon me, choose someone else over me, etc., etc. And your specific person is literally just showing up doing what the fuck you said in the new script. Because you know what? They must conform to your thoughts and assumptions. Excuse me, I almost lost my voice. They must conform to your new dominant thoughts and assumptions. That script is always changing. That's why you got to write in that script what works for you so that your 3D reality can reflect back to you, mirror back to you what you want to experience, not a bunch of bullshit that you don't want to have. Hell to the no, but they're literally not rejecting you. They do not have the free will to reject you. They don't have the free will not to choose you. And I've seen from clients where they're like, well, this is my third specific person, and after so long, they've just chosen to reject me, and they've chosen not to be with me, and I don't understand why this keeps happening. Yeah, because you need to work on the relationship patterns. Like we've said, if you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's the same pattern over and over again, go to my video that I posted last week about relationship patterns and revise your relationship cycle. Stop expecting that same crap, and if you are noticing it's still happening, then I would keep working on it until your thought has changed. And if you have some new person stepping forth and it's happening, then you need to still work on revising those relationship patterns so that you stop giving these new people a script that says reject me, abandon me, treat me like dirt, walk all over me, blah, 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 because that is what's going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you. There's no choice. They have no choice. They don't have the free will. Period. There's no free will. You are the one in your reality who has the free will to choose your thoughts and assumptions, and the people in your 3D reality must conform to that. So what are you going to do about that? I got a little excited about all the free will, and I almost forgot to tell you what to do. You have to change your dominant thoughts and assumptions about either your relationship pattern cycles, which I went over extensively in my previous video, or You need to change the dominant thought and assumption you have about your actual specific person that you're manifesting. How do you do that? Well, number one, write them one of Nikki's FU letters. If you have never written your specific person an FU letter for the shit that's showing up in your 3D reality, then that is item number one. Write them an FU letter. Why? Because you want to get rid of all the emotion that you have surrounding what's happened to you. So, first of all, let's get one thing straight. When you write a FU letter, you are not confirming that. You are not reaffirming it. You're not holding it in your 3D reality. If anything, you're getting it out of your 3D reality faster. Why? Because when you are manifesting a specific person that you have an old story with, you are not going through probably any or very little of the grieving process or any process of processing whatever has happened in that relationship. Typically, as people, we're having a human experience, right? And so we process the things that happen to us. We deal with them. There's, stages of grief that people go through when they have a loss. When you have a relationship with someone and then you don't, it is a loss. And when you're manifesting that person to conform and to have that relationship in your 3D reality, one of the things that you are doing is that you, in your mind, are still in this relationship. You are not processing the negative things that have happened in that relationship. That emotion that you experienced, maybe you've cried about it, but a lot of times you've just stuffed it down and you keep stomping on it down, like the sand pile that the child stomps on and stomps on and stomps on. It's like you're doing that to the emotion inside you, but you're like a volcano when it comes to that. And at some point you're going to erupt, or it just makes it harder for you to affirm what you want. It can also make it harder for you to do the buy-in of the new story that you're creating because you are still so angry, hurt, and whatever about the fucking bullshit that happened in the relationship. So write the FU letter. I put it off for a long time at first. And it was seriously one of the best things that I ever did for me, writing FU letters to people in my 3D reality who, to me, deserved it. So get out a piece of paper. I don't care if you write dear so-and-so, dear whomever, doesn't matter. But you, the way I do FU letters, Nikki, she also has it on her channel, Total Manifesting, where she explains FU letters. It's her creation. I have, I think I do it slightly different than her, and that's okay because we teach what has worked for us. I learned it from Nikki, but at any rate, take out a piece of paper. Write down everything you would want to say to that person's face. There's no social niceties necessary. There's going to be no repercussions. Why? Because you don't keep it, you don't reread it, you don't give it to anybody. You are doing this exercise for you. So write everything you'd want to say to their face, period. Everything. I don't care what it is, even if you're like, I'd love to sucker punch you in the throat, or you're the biggest D-bag I've ever met, ever, and you suck. Doesn't matter. Write whatever it is that you'd want to say to their face, even if it's literally, fuck you. Doesn't matter, because they're not going to get it, read it, anything. Then you're going to write how you feel or felt about it. You write how you're feeling about it now, or how you remember feeling at the time. Doesn't matter, but write that emotion out. And then you're going to write about what you think about manifesting that shit. No, I'm not into victim blaming or shaming, but we are manifestors and we manifest stuff. And even if you just say, I'm irritated as fuck that I manifested this shit that should have gone in the trash, that's fine. But write how you feel about manifesting it and then burn it, destroy it, rip it into shreds. Use it to line the cat box. I don't care, but you are going to get rid of it, destroy it, period. So that's one thing. Get rid of that emotion around that old story so you can let some of that old story go. Number two, write them a command letter. Yes, I know that I talked about this in the video that I recorded about getting your SP fast and stepping into like your power and being authoritative and confident, but write them a command letter of what they're going to do and how they're going to show up. You write it like you're writing it to a new recruit. You're a drill sergeant. You're writing it with authority. You're writing it with confidence. You're using terms like no matter what, literally, the truth is, it's a fact, facts, period. However it is that you want to express it, but you are writing from a place of confidence and just like how it is. You're madly in love with me. You worship the ground I walk on, period. You legit can't stop thinking about me 24/7, 365. You can't stand to be away from me. You love being my boyfriend, husband, partner. You're always telling me that you love me. You constantly tell me that you love me. You make time for me, period. You put more effort in this relationship than I do, no matter what. Facts. However it is that you want to say it, and then be like, because I said so. You can also recreate your SP. You take out a sheet of paper. You write all the qualities about your specific person that you have liked, that you have seen in the past, or even now. You write that list down. And then you think of the shit that you don't like. If you're feeling like they're dishonest, Don't write that on the list because we're not writing the negative shit. Think honest. If they're not monogamous, they are now, write monogamous. If they have the shittiest communication skills that you have ever seen on the face of this planet, don't put shitty communicator, put excellent communicator, is receptive to listening to everyone's needs, humble, mature, emotionally available, emotionally intelligent. You get the picture. Write anything and everything that you'd want for that person to be like, and then you can literally affirm that your SP's perfection, thriving, perfect version of themselves. Facts. And then affirm that shit, and then only see them as a new version. Only accept the new version. They're not rejecting you, no. Why? Because you're giving them a new script. And even if it looks like you're rejecting them, that they're rejecting you, revise that shit on the spot. Oh, they said the most loving things to me that I've ever fucking heard in my entire life. They're so loving. They're so kind. They're so amazing. Period. Revise on the spot. Revise at the end of the day. I made another video 2 weeks ago that talked about revision and how you can use revision to help you. You can literally revise at the end of your day about how you would have wanted it to go. But the biggest thing, two biggest things, aside from what I've mentioned, is number one, make sure that you're actually affirming. Now, before I get somebody saying, well, I don't affirm. You don't literally have to affirm. I use affirm as a broad general term because I am not going to list out every manifestation type that there is that exists on the face of this planet in every single video. If you are not a person who loops their affirmation, and that is your, because like I just use affirm, I know that that's what that's usually referred to, but I'm saying basically have repetitive thoughts. If you're not an affirmation looper, fine. But do whatever it is that you're going to do. If you're not sure about manifestation types, go to Nikki's channel at Total Manifesting, where she talks about a lot of different manifestation types. Do what feels natural to you. If you're someone that uses telephone technique, do the telephone technique. If you want to do visualization, scripting, rampaging, looping, I don't give a period. But you need to make sure that you are having the repetition of thought, because that's one of the ways that you form assumptions. We talked about some earlier in this video. You see something, you make a calculation, you make a determination, and you make an assumption. That's one way. Another way is a person in position of trust, like a friend tells you some bullshit and you buy it to be true. That's one way. Number two. Well, a third way is that you have repetition of a thought. However it is that you repeat that thought, I don't care. Keep looping that thought, period. Now, if you want, I don't care if you're scripting it, visualizing it, whatever, but you have to think of your specific person as this new version, as a version that you want, not the version that looks like they're rejecting you, because you want to be in a loving, committed relationship. So we are not going to subscribe that there's any rejection going on here. We're going to keep affirming and persisting. So are you actually affirming? Was the point that I wanted to make. Are you affirming? Because a lot of the times people aren't. I even found out for myself when there was that video that Sammy had put out about 10,000, affirming 10,000 times. And then Nikki did her social experiment with the 10,000K. I did my own experiment and I got a counter and I put it on my phone and I was affirming for some things that I wanted. One of the things that it showed me was I wasn't affirming as much as I thought, and I wasn't staying focused on my affirming. Yes, I'm a rampager. Yes, I'm also a scripter, but I also loop affirmations also too, because I'm not going to sit there and script all day because I can't. But there's times that I can make use of, like my commute, where I'm going to loop some affirmations. Long story short, I thought I was affirming a lot. And what was happening is my mind was wandering. So by using a counter and having to actually press a button to keep track of affirming, I was staying focused. I got a lot of movement in a lot of different areas. And it was literally because I was now affirming and focusing on my affirmations and actually, not just saying one affirmation or two affirmations and then have my mind wander for 5 minutes. So make sure that you're actually putting in that mental work. And yes, I better not hear a bunch of people saying, well, you shouldn't have to do any work. I'm not saying that you're going to lift physical boulders, but you want your mind to be, you want your dominant thought to be in line with what you want to experience. And if it's something that the 3D is showing you the clear polar opposite, like if you're no contact, you're not in a relationship, SP showing up like Chewbacca. Hey, for those people who are masters of manifesting and just step into like, if this is mine, it belongs to me and I'm going to have it because I'm literally a master of manifesting, and then they keep a clean mental diet and they get it, amazing. But that's not what happens for a lot of people. Can it happen? Yes. Do I see it happen? Yes. Have I had that happen for me with shit? Absolutely. But A lot of people, if they have resistance to something, especially if the 3D is showing the polar opposite, they're going to be looping their thoughts in order to create that new assumption. And that's the work. Keeping a clean mental diet. Making sure that your thoughts are in line with what you want to experience. Is that something that's necessarily extremely hard to do? If you make it that way, if you're not getting rid of the old story, if you're clinging to the old story for dear life because you're getting something out of bitching about it, like sometimes you just got to let go of what you get out of bitching to all your friends and everybody and their mother about your old story. Sometimes you just got to stick that shit right here and say, do I want my SP and that relationship, or do I want to bitch about it? Do I want to, try to stay focused that I have to have an apology? Do I want to stay focused that they're a jerk and continue to whine and complain and stay in my victim mentality? Sometimes you just have to make a choice. But for those of you who are like, I'm done being rejected, I'm done being a doormat, I'm done not having the relationship I want, I'm done crying over the bullshit, pick up the fucking pen, write the fuck you letter out, write a command letter out, and decide, I'm going to get my shit and I'm going to keep a cleaner mental diet about it. I'm going to notice if I'm feeling some kind of way and then stick my attention to what I'm thinking and be like, oh, I'm thinking some negative ass shit. I'm going to affirm. Or maybe, something's triggering me in the 3D and I'm going to do another fuck you letter because I'm pissed as hell about it. Whatever that it is. Start actually putting in the work to get what you want and get yourself out of victim mentality and whining that you're being rejected. They're not rejecting you. They don't have the power to choose to reject you. It just seems that way because that's your dominant thought and assumption, and they're playing the part that you gave them, which sucks. So stop the shitty ass shit. And what did this thing say? I probably won't be able to find it now, but it was something about not having any bullshit here, right? Right? Oh, well, that's just how that it works. Yeah, here it is. Quit the bullshit, even with yourself. Get yourself out of victim mentality. Write a new script for your specific person by changing your dominant thoughts and assumptions, and get your fucking shit, period. That's all I got to say about that. So, anyway, I'm not sure what next week's video is going to be about. I know a lot of you had commented on my post with a lot of video suggestions. I may pick one of those out of there, but I was just wanting to bring this to your guys' attention because I'm seeing it a lot lately as a theme of like, they're choosing, no, they don't have the choice to reject you. They're just playing that part that you gave. They're just doing a really good job at it because that's your dominant thought, assumption, and expectation. And if you're not expecting it, when it happens, are you like, oh, I'm not surprised. Oh, here we go again. Oh, of course they're doing this. This is what they always do. If you have any thoughts in line with that are like that, it's your dominant thought. Get it in the trash where the fuck it belongs. Get your shit. If you'd like to leave any comments below, feel free. But otherwise, until next week, I'll see you later.